Hey class, it's me, Fossum. I just wanted to check in. I started looking over your outlines for Essay 3, and I think we're having a little bit of a hard time with theme. So first of all, I just want to talk about theme really quickly. So if you think back to our PowerPoint about theme, remember that a theme isn't just a word, right? It's not just a topic like racism or religion, Christianity. It's also not something as simple as good versus evil, right? A theme statement is something a little bit more complex than that. It's a phrase, and it kind of makes an evaluative statement about that topic, right? So instead of saying Christianity, you could say, sometimes people claim they're Christians but don't act that way, right? Or if you want to talk about good and evil, you could say, sometimes people are not good or evil, there's a gray area. Or some people seem good, but they are in fact evil, right? So you're making some sort of an assertion about that topic in that theme. So if you go back and if you look at your theme statement, make sure that it is a complex phrase like that. I also wanted to talk about the main goals for Essay 3 a little bit, right? So if you look at Essay 3, it says, this essay will identify and fully articulate the theme of a good man is hard to find, right? So that's the big idea, is that you need to make a theme statement that covers the whole text. So some of you have themes like murder, right? But that only happens in the end. A theme should talk about and reference sort of the idea of the whole text. So please make sure that you kind of zoom out and you make sure that you can prove that theme with different aspects of the text, not just the grandmother and what she says, but the grandmother, the kids, maybe even Red Sam, the misfit. You can look at the setting, you can look at foreshadowing, right? Look at all of those things, but it can't just be about the grandmother or what just happens at the end of the text. So it says, body paragraphs should focus on those literary devices that the author utilizes in realizing their theme, right? So some of you kind of just split your paragraphs as far as just those literary devices. They need to support the theme in some way, right? That's what we're proving. So this stuff is kind of the same as it usually is, but this is where things get different. This paper should be at least 6 full paragraphs, right? So what that means is you have an intro, you have a conclusion, and you have 4 body paragraphs. We're moving away from the 5-paragraph essay. We have to, because for our last paper, we need 6 pages, which means we need 5 body paragraphs probably. So this must have 4 body paragraphs. That's minimum 4 body paragraphs. Make sure you use your textbook to help you with Works Cited, right? We have our rubric here. So let's take a look at a sample, right? So this has just our thesis first. It says, O'Connor's story presents that everyone has a dark side and can sometimes react impulsively, although they may seem innocent. Semicolon. This is shown through the character analysis of the misfit and the grandma on the symbolism of the family cat, right? So if we look, our theme is here. Everyone has a dark side and can sometimes react impulsively, although it may seem they're innocent, right? All of that is the theme, right? It's this kind of complex evaluative statement, and we can take that theme and we can actually apply it to other things, right? That's the thing about a theme statement, is we could apply this theme statement to The Lion King, right? We could apply this statement to Batman, right? We could apply it to all these other things. Then the second part of their thesis statement connects it to specific aspects of the story. This is shown through character analysis of the misfit and the grandma and the symbolism of the family cat. So because this has to have 4 body paragraphs, this person actually ended up writing 2 paragraphs about the grandmother. So that's kind of something that I want you to consider. Now, let's take a few minutes and look at their first body paragraph. So it reads, when the grandma's character is analyzed, another example is presented of a seemingly innocent person who has an unknown dark side. So let's kind of scroll back up to the thesis. Our theme is here. A seemingly innocent person who has an unknown dark side. That connects directly to our theme statement up here. Also, here, again, referencing the grandma's character, right? So you want two things in your thesis statement. You want your theme, and you want how it is kind of going to be applied. And you want two things in each topic sentence. One, you want an aspect of the theme, and you want how you'll be applying it, right? So this person goes on to write, the grandmother throughout the story on the surface seems like an average sweet grandma. She tells stories of things she remembers when she was growing up. O'Connor's story states, right, and you can see here that they took out a chunk of the text, right? They were like, hey, I don't need this. We need short quotes that get right to the point because you have to analyze each part of the quote. So they took out a chunk of that quote, so they threw in an ellipses in brackets. She recalled an old plantation, blah, 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 right? Then they have the citation. Then here we have all of this analysis that talks about how she seems innocent through this quotation. Then we have a second quote, right, that speaks to the part of her unknown dark side, right? So it starts to get at her being manipulative, right? And finally, this is kind of the tool that we're picking up for this paper. We're using a secondary source quote. So they input the quote. Ray states in his analysis, readers assume her traditional upbringing schooled the grandmother in ladylike behavior. Ray 175. Then again, they're going to connect this secondary source quote back to the topic sentence, which supports the theme in the thesis statement, right? So this is what a finished paragraph should look like when you've integrated those secondary source quotes. And I know for now that you only have your primary source quotes, but once you have the secondary ones, it should look a little like this. The last thing I want to say is that you want to make sure that your outlines are adhering to our outline format. So you should have a clear thesis statement, you should have clear topic sentences, and you should have quotes. You don't need an introduction, you don't need a conclusion, but you do need your topic sentences to be full sentences. Otherwise, I can't help you to make sure that they're on topic, right? If I only get an idea of what you're talking about. Please shoot me an email if you have any questions. I urge you to look at my feedback on your outline. Even if you got all the points for the outline, I still gave you some feedback. Please take a look at that. Let me know if you need help, and definitely make sure that you're going over the feedback from the various discussions, and you're also making sure that that theme is something that you can prove in different parts of the text, right? Anyway, I will talk to you soon.